welcome to May and welcome to CSL Leesburg. So our theme for the year of 2024 is a grand rising. And our theme for the month of May is from good to great to grand. I love that. Today's message is the inner land, and it will be given by a frequent guest speaker here at CSL Leesburg, a holistic restoration coach, a dear friend. It's Reverend Melinda Jacobs. And if you've heard her speak before, then you know you're in for a wonderful treat. We are so glad that you joined us here today. Please feel free to add to the chat or the comments section any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later in our service when we do our spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. So for now, we invite you to sit back, get comfortable, relax, you made it, and just enjoy our welcoming video. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
Morning, everyone. Let's step into a sacred, prayerful place. Connecting with the breath. Just letting the softness of music carry you into this moment. Feeling the support beneath you rising up, holding you. Allowing your energy to coalesce and drop into this support. Just allowing the breath to be gentle and easy as the spring among us is just beginning to blossom and bloom and the animals are moving. and nature itself is waking up around us. Just resting within yourself. Recognizing there's so many places within you, so many various parts of you that are brilliant, expansive, loving, and kind. And the parts of you that might be hiding in the shadows, that are just waiting for that hand to reach in, to pull them into the light. And on this beautiful, beautiful day, we just tap in and feel that sacred divinity that lives within us, is all around us, is expressing through us. Allowing that light to shine from you like a candle in the darkness, feeling the darkness just recess itself away as you shine. Your light, your love fills the room that you're in. You could imagine turning it up a little more and allowing it to fill the home, the space you're in. And that light just continues to move out into the world, transforming everything it touches. For this light, this love, this energy heals all things in every moment, in every situation. You could imagine it reaching into those places around the world that are in strife, in struggle, in conflict. Within love is all things possible. Love heals all things. Imagining this light washing in through and around communities that are in lack and poverty, places where there's health crises, and just feeling this light washing through and bathing every being, lifting them up. Recognizing within them their fullest potential. And bringing your focus now back to you, allowing that light to lift you into your fullest potential. You are the perfection of creation itself. One more breath in. And as you exhale, just letting go of the meditation. Blinking open your eyes, coming back into the room. So let's go to Leah today.
Good morning, CSL Leesburg. It's always a pleasure to be with you and to share music. Um, the theme this morning reminds me of the the curiosity, the openness required to listen in, listen out, to receive the messages that are for us. And so this song, I'm sure we've sung together, I've shared with you before, so I hope it's familiar enough that you want to sing along. It's called Listening. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open to see what I may be. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak through me. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open to see what I may be. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak through me. I'm listening, I am listening. I'm listening. Spirit, speak to me. I am listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open to see what I may be. I'm listening, I am listening. Spirit, speak through me. I'm listening, I am listening. This moment of silence speaks to me. I can hear the voices of all my listening to me. I am listening, sweet Spirit. We're all calling into the wind. My hands are wide open, eyes are wide open to see what I'm free. I'm listening this moment of silence. Spirit speaks through me.
Every single time she sings, I'm captivated by the quality of her voice, the beauty of the words, the layering of the sounds, and that was just exquisite. Thank you so much, Leah. Hello, everyone. I'm Melinda Reverend. I'm Melinda Reverend. I am Reverend Melinda. It's been one of those days, and I am so excited to be here with you. Thank you all for inviting me back. It's May. Yay. And Cinco de Mayo for those who celebrate. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Our monthly theme this month of May is good to great to grand. And today's topic is the inner landscape. And for those of you who don't know, I am a restoration coach. I have been doing trauma work with people all over the world for the last umpteen years. And this topic is so rich and it's a little hard for me to kind of pull it together. So I'm going to do my best. I want to start with our affirmation. And I like starting with the affirmations because I think it really just anchors into the theme. And so the affirmation this week is I am open and curious as I explore my own inner landscape. I am open and curious as I explore my own inner landscape. So this monthly theme is exploring and moving from good to great to grand. And we'll highlight the process of both self-actualization and collective actualization. So that's going to be the course of the month. And by exploring our own inner landscape, we will be taking stock of where we are in our own process, what values we aspire to, and how we can begin to live those values in a new and powerful way. So as we begin to have clarity around who we are and the spaces we want to live from, we can begin to create spaces and opportunities for others to do the same. It's like we get to lead by example in that, right? So the impact of this process on our collective experience will support our continued vision for a world where everyone is empowered to express and live authentically. So this week we're going to explore how observation, curiosity, and discovery are essential elements to self-actualization. And this becomes the starting point of our movement from good to grand to great to grand. By actively observing our own inner landscape, we gain insight and awareness into our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, even our habits and patterns. Curiosity is what fuels our desire to explore and ask powerful questions. And this leads us to discover and uncover new aspects of ourselves. And through this process, we reveal our passions, our strengths, and values, which are vital in the journey towards self-actualization. When we're able to fully embrace this process, we create space for our continued evolution and a deeper understanding of the infinite possibilities that live within us. So I'm inviting us as we go through this conversation today to just remember that energy of curiosity, and I'm going to invite in courage. The work that I do with people is very brave work. I am always inspired. I am always amazed by how people, when they're willing to go within, I think that's the most courageous journey we can take. One of the CSL ministers here in Colorado, Reverend Josh Reeves, he was my practitioner teacher for Prac 1 for the first year of practitioner training. And it was Halloween, and I remember him saying, "What's the scariest thing you could ever do?" And we all had our answers, but I liked his the best. We can look at ourselves. And it's interesting that that's the key of our growth. That's where we really get to move and expand, is when we look within. And yet we have this whole culture of avoidance and distraction. Now, please be gentle with yourself. We all do it. I believe a rose blooms when a rose is ready to bloom. And so if you are part of the practice, if you have that practice of a little bit of avoidance, little bit of a distraction or maybe a lot, I want you to give yourself a lot of grace today. Yeah. So Ernest Holmes writes this. I love this. The road to self-discovery often calls for the clearing away of the underbrush of ignorance, fear, superstition, and a sense of isolation, which has made us feel that we are unworthy, unheld, and lost. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary. I'm going to say that again. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. We do not save that which was lost. We merely discover that which needs to be found. Now, what I love about this quote is lately in my own practice, I've been a little bit in a rebranding thing, and I do bill myself out now as a restoration coach. And it's based on science of mind principles that within us is already the true essence of who we are. It's underneath all these layers. It's what Ernest talks about, the underbrush. Those fears, those worries, those insecurities. And I like this idea of restoration because we've seen, well, maybe not all of us, but most of us can understand that when we restore an old piece of furniture, it's old, it's worn, the color's dulled and dingy. And through the process of restoration, it's a peeling back of the layers and revealing the beauty that was already there. Does that make sense? So Abraham Maslow, who is a humanistic psychologist, describes self-actualization as the process of becoming everything you are capable of becoming. Everything you are capable of becoming. And Science of Mind says that we are that divine expression, that all those qualities of source, of spirit, of God, of the universe, of nature, of Mother, Father, God, right here. Even the way shower, master teacher, Jesus said, all these things I do, you can do and more. That's what we're capable of. It's amazing. And so this idea of self-actualization comes from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So it's a pyramid if you haven't seen it. And the very bottom line, the base of the pyramid is physiological needs. So in order to ascend up into this pinnacle point, we need to go through these different layers. And so the first one is physiological needs, meaning our food, our water, our warmth, our rest, our physical body needs to be tended to first before we can ascend to the next level. The next level is safety, meaning you feel safe and secure. Above that, once you have your physiological needs met, then you have your safety needs met, then you get to go to the next step and you get to move into belongingness and love. And that's where we're developing intimate relationships and friendships. Next level up, esteem needs, the feeling of prestige, feeling accomplishment. And that's not from an egoic place, but a real sense of feeling that you have done something well and done and achieved something big for yourself. And then finally, that little top of the pyramid is self-actualization, achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Now, I just want to add this one little caveat to our conversation today, because I saw a lot of this through COVID, especially when lockdown happened. If you can remember way back when, it feels like it was eons ago. I remember a lot of people, including myself, was like, oh, I'm going to have all this time. I'm going to hunker down. I'm going to create programs. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to have all of this downtime. That not a lot of that happened. And if we look at the hierarchy of needs, is because there was a sense of insecurity and there was a lack of safety. We didn't know what was going to make us sick initially. And so all that creative energy wasn't really able to be achieved or stepped into because we were still in that physiological needs and that security needs. Does that make sense? And so I like to say that because I've seen people really get down on themselves when they are trying to create something. And it's just like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Why can't I get this done? And it's like, well, if we just look at this pyramid, is there something below where you're trying to create or self-actualize? Is there something below that needs tending to first? So I just little caveat for you. So the process of self-actualization is not one where we are having to become something new or plug in a specific formula or get rid of a part of ourselves. No, no, no. We are uncovering that which is already present. That's that restoration process I was talking about. And as individualized expressions of the one life, the one mind, the one whole, all creative force that's at the back of all things, our journey is of discovery and increasing the awareness of the truth of who we are, the truth. Meaning, if you have a sense of insecurity, if you have a sense of not enoughness, if you are in an experience of feeling lack in any way, those are not your truths. Those might be experiences and those might be beliefs that you glommed onto as a result of what you experienced, but that's not your truth. So when we peel these layers back and get to who we really are, we're literally peeling ourselves back to know ourselves as that divine expression, as part of that one, part of that whole. So, this journey to self-actualization, we're going to go through 3 steps: observation, curiosity, and discovery. I love this quote from Amit Ray, Yoga and Vipassana, an integrated lifestyle. Self-observation is the first step of inner unfolding. It's the first step, and I think it's the scariest step. I see people who very much want to know themselves as good, pure beings. And that's true. We all are that. And yet we have our humanity. and we can get into a little bit of a place of judging ourselves, right? And if there's a part of us that we're not so fond of, tendency is to shove it to the background outside of our periphery, meaning we're not looking at that part. We're not aware of that part, and we're just focused on the good. It's still there. Adyashanti, my favoriteest teacher, and this is probably one of my favoriteest quotes, and so you may have heard me share it before, is enlightenment is the complete absence of resistance to what is. The complete absence to any resistance. And so as we're looking within, going in and observing ourselves, I see this happen a lot. People are very resistant to admit their limitations. Have there been things that I have done in my life that I'm not proud of? Absolutely. Absolutely. And do those parts of me deserve to be loved and brought into the light? Through our meditation this morning, there was this reaching into the darkness and pulling these parts of ourselves out into the light. When we observe ourselves with judgment, that's not that's not the path to self-actualization. It's actually keeping us in this state of limitation. Observation is a simple and transformative practice on this path to self-actualization. And here's the trick: observing ourselves without judgment. When we can do that, we can cultivate a self-awareness and a deeper understanding of our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors and patterns. But it's that judgment piece that really gets people stuck. When you can observe yourself in that more enlightened place, that lack of resistance, that lack of judgment, then you can become attuned to the intricacies of our inner landscape, finding those hidden beliefs, those hidden fears and desires that are shaping our lives. And this heightened awareness, which has an absence of resistance, has an absence of judgment, this heightened awareness enables us to make new choices, conscious choices that are more aligned with our authentic, true selves. Does that make sense? And when we can view ourselves in this way, this place of compassion, this place of enlightenment, we can also begin to extend that to the outer world and see other people in that way too. Number 2, let's get curious. And what I like about getting curious is it's a different way of being. It is actually it's the cure, it's the answer, it's the healing out of judgment. When we can choose curiosity over judgment, that's what launches us into and up that hierarchy of needs, where we can actually start evolving and expanding. This quote from Mary O'Malley, "What's in the way is the way." Love that title. She says, true alchemy is about transforming unconscious into consciousness. Curiosity is where the magic happens. It's in the curiosity that we begin to unlock these places within us. So it's a catalyst for growth and expansion as we pay attention to our inner landscape. It changes the way we're perceiving, the way we're observing ourselves when we can do it through the lens of curiosity. My favorite line when I am observing myself is, "Oh, isn't that interesting?" Huh. And that's that place of curiosity. "Oh, isn't that interesting, Melinda?" And there's no judgment in there. There's just curiosity. And it's almost whimsical for me. It took time to cultivate that stance with myself, especially with the behaviors that I'm not fond of, that I'm not proud of. But that energy of curiosity allows you to stand back in that non-judgmental place, in that enlightened place. Curiosity is the spark that ignites our quest for a greater understanding of ourselves, gently nudging, sometimes pushing us beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones. And here's the key, beloveds. If you are comfortable, you're not growing. Sorry. Our growth edge is always going to be a little uncomfortable because we're stepping out of the familiar into something courageous, into the discomfort, into that place of unknown. And for all the times that you retreat back into the comfort, give yourself grace, please. This is the place where we get to practice compassion for ourselves, for our journeys, because I don't know about you, but looking out in the world, listening to the news, tending to my life as it's unfolding, there's a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of places that are really uncomfortable. And so taking reprieve and having a rest out of the discomfort is okay. Let's not say it has to be uncomfortable all the time. Let's give ourselves breaks, right? There's this process that maybe I've spoken of here before of strengthening steel. It's called tempering. And the way that steel is strengthened is it's put into the fire, it's put into the flame, into the discomfort. And it's put under this pressure, under this force, and it's exposed to it. And then it's taken out and it's cooled off. And then it's put back in, and then it's taken out and cooled off. That actually strengthens the steel. So as you are being curious about yourself and stepping into these growth edges and recognizing where your boundary of your comfort zone ends, give yourself some permission to back off and then go back into the discomfort and back off. Because when we can begin to approach life with an open and curious mind, we're going to invite in new experiences, new ideas, new perspectives, new people, new possibilities. Curiosity encourages us to question. Isn't that interesting? Oh, I wonder what that's about. Oh, I wonder how that's serving me. This is my favorite. This came from a conversation yesterday with a dear friend. I wonder how I'm participating in this situation and how I'm enabling this. Ooh, I loved that question. Because these questions help us understand ourselves, help us find meaning for ourselves. When we nurture our curiosity, we just remain open and receptive to experience life anew, not just the wash, rinse, and repeat. Number 3 is to discover. Oh, the process of self-discovery, we get to delve into our innermost parts of ourselves, revealing the underlying sources of our identity and beliefs and desires. Ernest Holmes talked about the underbrush, right? Looking at the underbelly of ourselves. This process of self-discovery can be shocking. Shocking. I often see people stop their progression forward, letting go of goals that they set for themselves because they didn't like what they found. They didn't like the truth of their being in that moment. And here's the key. When you find behaviors that you're not fond of, or even beliefs, maybe even biases, when you find those, I invite you to meet them not only with curiosity, but with kindness and compassion. Because what if that was the best you could do at the time? What if that was what you needed for that moment? What if you needed to learn that so that you could expand and be a better person? Now, I was not prepared to share this, but here's Spirit just pushing me. Okay, fine, here we go. I love this community because I get to just show up and be my authentic self. I was having a conversation with my daughter the other day, and she was really struggling with some choices that she's made with some friendships and felt that she, out of meeting her own needs, was maybe in some way being disrespectful to someone else. And I said, yeah, I learned that lesson when I was about your age, maybe a little younger. And I was very disrespectful of other people's relationships. I didn't have a care in the world, didn't think about them at all, had no consideration. I am not proud of the damage that I created with that lack of consideration and care and respect for other people's relationships. But you know what it did do for me? It made me very loyal. It made me highly respect people because the depth of shame that I felt in that moment when I realized the damage that I had done with no care, no consideration, no awareness. I never want to feel that again. And can I embrace that part of myself and love her so fully? Yes, I can. Because love heals all things. So, this discovery process can serve as an exploration of our true nature. It unveils our passions, our strengths, and our values. It also unveils our weaknesses and maybe places where we need to align more with what our values are, because one of my highest values is integrity. And in those choices that I was making at that very young age, in that very naive way, I was completely misaligned with my value system. And the pain and the shame of those experiences helped me move into a place where now I am so anchored into high integrity, high respect for myself, for my relationships, and others. Self-discovery allows us to shed limiting beliefs and patterns, creates space for that expansion. It opens doors for possibility. So, beloveds, it may not be easy. I guarantee you it's not. This is the most courageous thing you could do, is go into your own inner landscape. And when you allow yourself to be open to embrace that power of observation, to witness yourself through that lens of curiosity, and allow self-discovery to open doors, you'll experience limitless possibility for evolution and transformation. I now draw to me high quality relationships because I learned from a different place and a different time. And so when you move into these places and go through this process of observation, curiosity, and discovery, life gets better and richer and fuller, and you align to your highest expression. I want to finish this with a question and a quote. This is from Rumi. And you, will you begin that long journey into yourself? It's worth it. And the truth is you're never alone through it. And I guarantee you, Source, God, Mother, Father, Nature loves you and will help you in those moments. And it will rise up and get you to the other side. So let's just close our eyes, come into prayer, please. And just resting into that divine presence that is all around us, in the beauty of nature, in the kindness of a stranger, in the generosity of a community supporting another community. What I know is true is that the container in which all of this human activity is occurring is love itself. This divine love, this divine life that we are living, albeit sometimes with the blinders of our humanity on and forgetting that that divinity is who and what we are. I know in this moment that there is never a moment of separation. There is never a moment when we are not divinely guided, divinely inspired, and on that growth edge of knowing our own potential, stepping into the power of who we are, what we are, stepping into that great, that good, that grand, that great. That is the journey of our being. And so for every being that is somewhere on that journey and is feeling struggle, that is experiencing lack in some way, that is experiencing a health challenge, I am knowing that the divine presence of God itself is right there with them, that the inner knowing within them knows exactly the very next thing that they need to move them through and beyond that experience. I know we are here to love, to share, to commune, to do this deep inner journey within ourselves and to know deeply that we are one. And that what I do to myself affects the whole, and what I do to others affects me, because there's no separation. And I am so grateful for this CSL Leesburg community, so grateful for these Science of Mind teachings, so grateful for all the love and support of this community that brings these messages to you on a weekly basis. I'm so grateful for all the love that is in this world right now, in the beauty that is unfolding in our springtime. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have yet another day to love and forgive myself and others, and to align to the highest expression that I am, which is that divine presence itself. For all those prayers, unspoken and spoken, I know them to be answered, for that is what the universe is always doing. For we are held, we are supported, we are guided, and for that I am so grateful. So I release this into that infinite law, that receptive law that says yes, yes, and yes. I rest, I release, I let go, I allow it to be, and I allow it to be revealed in its right and perfect time. And we can affirm by saying, and so it is. Okay, let me cue up the next song. Let me cue it up and actually share it now. Share. Claire. Let's bring back Leah.
There is no roadmap for these times, but if you want to ease your mind, you got to look inside. You got to look inside. There is no roadmap for these days, but if you want to find some grace, you got to look inside. You got to look inside. I know your heart is crying, please, but if you want to find some peace, you gotta look inside. Go on and look inside. You're searching through the stars above, but you got all you need, that is love. You gotta look inside. Go on and look inside. Everything that my heart needs is here right now. Everything that my heart needs is inside. Everything that my heart needs is here right now. Everything that my heart needs is inside. There is no roadmap for these times, but if you want to ease your mind, you got to look inside. You got to look inside. There is no roadmap for these days, but if you want to find some grace, you got to look inside. You got to look inside. Go on and look inside. You got to look inside. You got to look inside.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Reverend Melinda Jacobs. That was fantastic. And I'm right with you. Mafi, not Mafi, my goodness. Leah's music is absolutely amazing. Oh, folks, now is the time to bless the donations that are shared with us today at CSL Leesburg. We believe in the law of circulation, just like you heard in our opening video. So we are a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Your donations help our center, our CSL home organization, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Because like Reverend Melinda said, it's all connected, right? So please look at your screen. There are so many ways to give, and it's easy to find a way that works best for you. Odds are you found a way already. Am I right? We thank you so much for your support. No matter how you are giving, please take it either physically or just in your mind, visually, and place it over your heart as we bless our gifts. Here we go. Say it with me. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. All right, before we get to our closing, let's see if we have any announcements. Dream study. So our next one, oh my goodness, will be on Saturday, May 18th at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Join Charlene and her friends as they explore and interpret their dreams. You know, we're always getting messages, even when we're sleeping. Sometimes it's hard to like peel back and figure out what is being brought to me through my dreams. And that's what Charlene and her friends do when they meet for dream study on those Saturdays. So mark your calendars and join them if you can. All right, so here we go. It is our closing. What a beautiful, blessed time we have had together. So place your hands over your heart. You heard all about self-discovery, and with that comes self-love. So give yourself a big old hug and join me and say, I am love. Wonderful, wonderful. And if possible, turn on your mics because I love to hear this next part. Look at someone who's in the room with you. It can be a furry companion, it can be a friend, it can be a family member. And like I just said, we're all connected. So you can send this out to whomever you think needs to get this message right now. Here we go. You ready? You are love.
You are love.
You are love.
Guys, I love that. I love that chorus coming at me. Thank you so much. All right, put your hands up in the air for our closing, our very last thing that we do. It's all love. Here we go.
It's all love. It's all love.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, if you can stay, please stay. I took so many notes and I'd love to share some of my thoughts about the meditation, the message, the music. This is what we call pearls. It's something that we really enjoy. It's our little coffee hour that we do here through a Zoom format. So if you can, stay with us, hang out, chat with us, share with us. And if you can't, know that we send you off with our love and with our blessings. Thanks for joining us.